Thank you for joining us today and welcome to our Culture Days one-on-one info session. My name is Fernanda Sierra Suarez. I am the Community Engagement and Programs Manager at Culture Days National. I will also be joined later a bit further along in the presentation by our Executive Director, Shannon Bowler. And before we get started, just a few quick reminders on the Zoom settings and access features so you're aware of them. So you can personally turn on the option for closed captions below the screen. This will create auto-generated English captions. A reminder that only the presenters' microphones and cameras will be on, but do please use the chat to let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from if you wish. And while we will not be hosting a live Q&A session at the end of the session, we are going to be answering some of the most common questions that we've received each year. And we'll point out the resources in the chat. However, there is a Q&A box as part of the settings in the webinar, so you're welcome to add your questions there, and our team might be able to answer them during the presentation. However, we are always very happy to connect further via email. So at info@culturedays.ca, you can directly reach out to us with any specific questions, and we're happy to help. Today's sessions will be recorded and will be available next week if you wish to review it or share it with your colleagues or network. And the slide deck will also be available to you in English and in French. Before I get started, I want to acknowledge that the Culture Days Network is present and active in all corners of the country and collaborates with a vast array of people and organizations, communities across Indigenous territories. Culture Days and our partner organizations are committed to working with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities, seeking to uphold equity for all to participate and support the diversity of all forms and cultural expressions. Today, I'm personally speaking to you from the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. This area, now called Toronto, is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the territories are guided by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Bell Covenant. So today we'll be starting by giving an overview of what Culture Days is all about, how you can participate, event eligibility, and how to register events. We will also be going over event planning and promo resources you have available to you, such as social media graphics and other marketing materials. We will also be sharing later a little bit about the top participating communities campaign, and we will highlight some cross-Canada event highlights for inspiration, and we'll wrap it all up sharing a little bit more about Culture Days in each region, how it works, and how to get involved. All right, so to get started, what is Culture Days? Culture Days is Canada's annual celebration of arts, culture, and heritage. Each year, across the country, thousands of free participatory events are offered by independent organizers as part of these celebrations, welcoming millions to participate and create and share a life enriched by arts and culture. The aim of Culture Days and all associated events are to encourage the public to engage, interact with, discover, or rediscover the importance of arts and culture in our lives, in our communities, and to also inspire year-round support for those local artists, local organizations, venues, and institutions. And this year, Culture Days is back, and it's staying for 3 weeks of arts and culture and heritage events across the country, this year running from September 19th to October 12th. Over the years, this sense of connection and creativity that is tied with Culture Days has really grown into something amazing. Last year, we marked 15 years of Culture Days, and here's a look at what that has been added to. Throughout 15 years, there have been more than 55,000 events, 17,000 event organizers, 25 million attendees across the country in over 5,000 communities. This, of course, all across Canada. So I'll pass it on now to Shannon Bowler, again, Executive Director, Culture Days National, to chat a little bit about the history and the purpose behind Culture Days.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Fernanda. Thanks for joining us today. We're happy to have you. So a little background in history, just briefly about Culture Days and how it came to be. So the initiative was founded in 2010 by the Canadian Arts Summit. So this is a group that was made up of some of Canada's largest arts institutions, and it was really inspired by the success of our sister celebration in Quebec, Le Journée de la Culture. The event was envisioned as an opportunity for arts organizations, advocates, artists, cultural champions, really the entire sector, to come together to champion and encourage the public to discover and support the work of artists and the organizations in their communities by way of direct participation, direct collective participation, which is the central component to Culture Days. So from its onset, the celebration originally took place over 3 days on the last weekend of each September. In 2020, in response to the pandemic, the event was expanded to encompass 3 weeks. And this framework does continue to remain in place. We've found that that expanded model has really allowed for lots of increased flexibility in programming, and it offers, of course, more avenues of discovery for the public. So each year, this event represents this big coordinated national effort to increase access, participation, and appreciation of arts and culture, as Fernanda said. And really through these expressions of creativity, culture, and connection, each community's vibrancy and diversity is showcased during the annual celebration. So a little overview of who participated last year. As in every year, anyone can organize an event and participate in Culture Days, from grassroots community, volunteers, public libraries, independent artists, collectives, all the way to those major arts and culture and heritage institutions, local specialty festivals, and municipalities. Everyone's invited to participate. Organizers have reported a variety of motivations, main ones being participating helps to strengthen their ties to their local communities, helps to build new audiences, of course, to showcase their work to the public, and to collaborate and partner with artists and different organizations in the community. And that's become quite a huge motivation in recent years, especially. That opportunity to try out new partnerships, experiment, do something new. Culture Days is a great opportunity for that. So through this self-organizing network, the studio doors are open, backstage is revealed, main streets and alleyways are activated, and all those beautiful ways that our day-to-day lives are intertwined with and elevated by arts and culture are on full display thanks to the organizers like yourselves. So at its core, at our national organization, Culture Days is a public participation campaign. We want to get people out to support arts, culture, and heritage, all the while inspiring an appreciation for the creativity, diversity, and expression of our artists and our communities. So along with our provincial partners and our media supporters, our organization coordinates a large major promotional campaign, which is one we also endeavor to make easy and fun to tap into at the local level. So our national networks support Culture Days with a cross-country advertising, media coverage, promotional campaign This achieves anywhere from 700 million to a billion impressions every year, all across the country. And our provincial partners, who we will talk about in detail in a bit, also run coordinated campaigns. And of course, your own local efforts help to achieve these incredible results. So we do endeavor to make it as easy as possible for you to participate in the campaign, to make it your own, and join the collective effort to promote and champion arts and culture from the local level all the way up to the national. So when Fernanda joins us in a little bit again, she will give an overview of how to access and use the campaign for your own needs. So, event eligibility. What's a Culture Days event? So via our platform, we host a registration and event listing system. The event registration, it's completely free. And by registering your events, you gain access to a variety of resources and tools. It is also how we and our provincial partners can find and identify events happening across Canada and help you promote them. So as I mentioned above, our national provincial campaigns spotlight events through the campaign season. We use the listing as a reference in all of our media pitching, advertising, and social media features. And so, of course, most importantly, it's how the public can find your events as part of the national celebrations. So whether you're planning from scratch or you're adapting an event that falls within the Culture Days dates, there's just a few criteria that it needs to meet to be included in the listing. So first of all, that it is arts and culture related and hopefully participatory in nature. So this means your event should endeavor to involve some sort of hands-on, behind-the-scenes element, should allow participants to play a part in the creative process or offer something maybe beyond a typical audience experience. The second point of criteria is that it takes place during the designated Culture Days event run, this year, September 19th to October 12th. So as long as the event occurs at least once over the course of those Culture Days dates, it will qualify. Again, to reiterate, while Culture Days takes place over a three-week period, you do not have to program for the entirety to qualify. So whether you're running an event once or you're running an event a dozen times, you are part of Culture Days. The third component is that it is registered on the Culture Days website, which we're providing links to. I will take this opportunity to just add one asterisk to this that we will detail out a little bit more. Our friends in Quebec and Alberta do operate a little bit slightly differently regarding the above, but we will cover that close to the end here. So the fourth and final point of criteria is that it must be free for the public to attend. So in its main function as a public engagement opportunity, the Culture Days celebration is committed to free admission as a means to reduce barriers to access and to really encourage the public to stretch beyond their normal behaviors and try something new during this time. We know that free and accessible events really help to achieve this for organizers. However, organizers, of course, can choose to have an optional pay what you may admission, and you are always welcome to solicit donations at events. So in the link shared in the chat, there should be some resources full of event planning inspiration. Oh yeah, the programming ideas resource, and includes ways to adapt existing programs or existing ticketed events that already are happening during Culture Days, some ideas of to how you can still have them fit within the framework of the Culture Days criteria. So one exception to the above eligibility is for those events organized around and for the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, which takes place each year on September 30th. So for that day on September 30th, Culture Days does exclusively highlight activities led by First Nations, Métis, and Inuit organizers, as well as those events that are engaging in themes of truth and reconciliation. So these are offerings that seek to acknowledge those shared histories and promote a better understanding of reconciliation through meaningful engagement. So in order to ensure that Indigenous voices and participation are central to any event planned for September 30th, as part of the registration process, there are a few additional questions that our team is asking of you to answer during the registration form. So if the proposed event does not appear to appropriately and meaningfully reflect the above, we may contact the event organizer for more details and to chat further. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Fernanda, who's going to go in a bit more detail for into the registration process, which we know it's especially helpful for those of you who might be participating for the first time.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. So as Shannon just mentioned, registration is completely free and it gives you access to a range of helpful tools and features that can support your event promotion. So to get started, you can head to culturedays.ca and then you will find a button called Dashboard. You can find this button in the top right corner of the homepage. And if you don't have already an account, it'll prompt you to create an account and to sign up. Once you're logged in, you'll land in the dashboard. And here is where you'll manage everything related to your event. From the dashboard, you'll be able to register and manage events and also create hubs, organizer profiles, and venues. On screen, you'll be able to see what the dashboard menu looks like, one part of the menu. So when you head to culturedays.ca/dashboard, you will be able to see this right at the left hand of the screen. And under events is where you'll be able to register events. So once again, you'll be able to manage and edit your events here. Under events, under hubs, you'll be able to find the feature that it's to create hubs. Hubs are basically groups of events that are connected by a common theme or a location or an organizing team. And you can find more details on how those work in that tab. You can also save drafts for any event or hub and come back to make edits at any time. So don't feel like you have to rush through the registration and complete it all at once. So going back to event registration, when you are ready to start your process, you go to events and you'll be asked to fill in a few key details. So that includes the event's title, description, date and time, location, access features, and format of the event. Format is, for example, an exhibition, hands-on, activity, performance, knowledge sharing, or an open house. There are specific categories listed there. So please choose a format that best matches the overall structure of your event. And if you think there is a format more than one format that fits your event, which is likely to happen, just select the one that feels the closest to it, just so that your event is describable in the event listing. If you are planning to register more than one event, we recommend that you create an organizer profile. This will be helpful so you can autofill your information as an organizer for future registrations and hopefully save you time. And then similarly, you can do the same thing with setting up a venue profile so you don't have to re-enter the same location details every time. On screen, you can find the different steps to get to your event registration. However, if you do wish to look at a step-by-step guide, there is a downloadable PDF that you can access right at the homepage of your dashboard. And of course, again, if at any point you have any questions or you run into any issues, you can reach out to us at info@culturedays.ca, and we're happy to help you through this registration process. Just to mention a feature that we have as part of the system is RSVPs. So if you would like to set up RSVPs for your event, you can enable that directly in the form. This basically lets you set a capacity as well as a registration deadline for your own independent individual event. So once the event is published, you'll also be able to view the list of registrants in your event dashboard. And if for any reason you wish to disable that, just get in contact with us. And again, we're happy to help. Here on the screen, you can see what the RSVPs look like. And then here we have a quick note on that process from when you start your draft of your event. Again, it'll save the information for you so you can save and continue the application at any time. But once you click on publish event, your event will go into an event queue that our team reviews. We basically do a quick check to make sure that not only the event meets eligibility criteria, but also just to verify the location on the map, to clean up any small formatting or spelling errors, and support in that way. And once the event is submitted and goes into the queue and we review it, it typically gets published within 2 business days. So just to note, at the bottom, you can see how here an event will look like when it's in a draft, and when it's published, you will receive a notification in your email, and then the status of the event will change also in your event tab. So as part of your dashboard, you will also be able to access a tab called Tools. And in here, you'll find different tools and different features that can help you promote your events. And these tools include collections, marketing materials, social media graphics, and widgets. All the description, you can find them under each section, just so you can access it whenever you wish to learn more about them. But just to quickly go through them, collections basically allows you to create and display a custom list of events. It's a helpful tool if you want to showcase specific programs because it can tie them together and you can have a shareable link. Under marketing materials is where you'll be able to access customizable as well ready-made materials, but this is really your marketing backpack with everything you need to create your own materials. And I'll shortly go over what's in it. But aside from that, under tools, under social graphics, once your event is published, you will be able to see what you see on screen right here, social media graphics. And this feature allows you to download ready-made promotional materials. So for whatever reason you don't wish to create your own, no worries at all. This feature here allows you to pick from the different colors and also different layout options. So once you have uploaded images to your event and it has been published, you'll be able to play around with these and it'll auto-generate an event poster like the one you see here to the left, or even to the right. You can also see what it looks like in different orientations. And again, these are auto-generated social media graphics that you can directly download. However, if you are looking to fully customize your materials, the Culture Days Marketing Drive is where you'll find those individual assets. The Marketing Drive, you can find it under Marketing Materials, under Tools. You can see here at the top, the dashboard, Tools, Materials, and the Drive. So once again, here's where you can access individual assets such as font, logos, customizable posters, social media frames for your photos. And it is organized as a Google Drive. So when you open it, it'll just look like a shared folder. But you can browse this folder, download full folders if you wish to, or you can individually download the items that you need, whatever works best for you. Inside this drive, you'll find different types of assets that also support your outreach. So that includes our media relations templates, outreach one pager, the swag packages templates, and then also our mayor municipal proclamation templates. So just for you to know, we will be hosting additional webinar sessions in the coming months, and one will specifically take a closer look at how to build your own marketing materials using Canva. So in this marketing drive, you'll be also able to find instructions on how to how to access templates so you can build them in Canva. Canva, it's a free, user-friendly graphic design online tool that you can use. So in there, you'll be able to find instructions of how to build your materials if you wish to build them through Canva. But otherwise, again, all the individual assets and materials, you can access them here and create your materials. So I'll pass it again to Shannon, and she will be sharing a little bit more about Culture Days audiences and who are the folks that are attending events.
Thanks. Okay, so every year we do also undertake pretty extensive cross-country surveys and some market research initiatives. So through this, we actually do have a good idea of folks who participate in Culture Days and why. And we know that Culture Days is successful in moving the needle on increasing that public appreciation, support, and involvement in the sector across the country. So, of course, these big numbers from 2024 showcase just some of that. Over 4,000 events took place in over 350 communities, organized by over 1,500 event organizers, and our largest reported attendance ever of 5 million people across the country participated and engaged in Culture Days, which is just a wonderful thing. So under this campaign of promotion and support for the arts and culture sector, we see the artists and creators. We are all collectively championing their important contributions to the community. So in terms of some insights into motivations of why folks consider attending Culture Days and do attend, the main motivation is that events are free or accessible to attend. It's really that special time of year, that concentrated 3 weeks where people can really get out and stretch and see what they might be interested in and just rediscover what's in their communities. So of course, getting to experience something new falls right behind that. Learning more about the art and the artists, or the artistic process, being involved in their community, learning more about other cultures, spending time with family and friends, and then specifically supporting a specific artist or organization remains a big motivator as well. Now, in terms of what folks do after Culture Days, we do have some insights on how people come away from their experiences at Culture Days events and how it might inspire their actions year-round. So our participants report a high percentage of Culture Days events contributing to their increased appreciation for arts and culture, their pride in their community where they live, the likelihood that they will include arts and culture in their social life, or likelihood of seeking out other nearby arts and culture events, contributes to their overall sense of well-being. They report increases their desire to be creative personally as a pastime or a hobby, improvements to physical or mental health or feelings of that. Importantly, the likelihood of seeking out other arts and culture events outside their community and involving their children and family in arts and culture. So lots of really, really good takeaways, and people have pretty positive feelings about coming back from Culture Days events. One post sort of campaign that the national office also runs every year with the support of our provincial partners, and something to highlight is the Top Participating Communities campaign. So this is after Culture Days wraps up. So each year we recognize those communities from across the country for their dedication and efforts with the top participating communities listing. So these are communities that hail from large urban centers, towns, rural areas alike, and we recognize that they are great champions of arts, culture, and creativity. I think Fernanda has placed a link in the chat where you can see some of the communities that placed last year and all of the stats that I just gave an overview you can see in our 2024 highlights. So I am going to now pass it right back to Fernanda, and she's going to go over some event highlights from last year as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. So yes, speaking of the top participating communities, we wanted to highlight a few standout examples of events and hubs that we've seen in the last few years that really showcase that impactful approaches to community engagement and arts and culture programming through their events. And we are actually starting with last year's top participating community, which was Oakville, Ontario. Last year, they specifically hosted over 280 events, and this invited community members to engage in many different ways of many different forms of artistic expression. So they hosted exhibitions, workshops, live performances, and this programming featured local creators. It took place at key cultural spaces across Oakville, including the Queen Elizabeth Park Community and Cultural Center, the River Oaks Community Center, the Oakville Center for the Performing Arts, and the Oakville Museums. I think one of the things that's especially noteworthy about Oakville's commitment to Culture Days is not only their amazing partnerships and event granting program for local artists, but also really offering low barrier programming and with the goal of nurturing a more equitable and inclusive arts and culture sector in Ontario specifically. Next is the lovely community of Pictou County, Nova Scotia. So Creative Pictou County is a nonprofit and they support the region's growing creative sector. Last year, they organized a Pictou County Hub and they offered 17 free events, including workshops in plein air painting, marketing, and art crawl that included a musical bus ride, a youth drumming circles that they hosted at libraries, and they even invited and made part the Fusion Festival that ran in partnership with the Multicultural Association of Pictou County. And according to their executive director that shared some insights with us, their success of this hub last year really came down to building strong relationships with community partners. So this included libraries and small businesses, as these partners provided them with space, for example, to host a pop-up exhibition and some performances. But they also engaged local journalists and municipal leaders through outreach and actually early on to invite them to come out and to be part of this celebration. So yeah, very lovely, vibrant, creative community in Pictou County, Nova Scotia. Our next example is from the Richmond Cultural Center and Annex Hub in BC. This multiplex, the center, is made up of cultural organizations, studios, a library, and a museum, and as well as an archive. So the whole building comes alive during Culture Days, and it's run in direct partnership with the city and the cultural center. Last year specifically, they hosted events including this really fun hands-on printmaking workshop in their rooftop garden. It was a drop-in workshop and it was led by artist Marlene Ewan, and participants had the chance to experiment and to make prints using fruits and vegetables. It was a drop-in free activity that they timed with the final event of their rooftop garden series. So it helped also build momentum towards that final exhibition. And I think this event and this partnership is a really good example also, and how these low barrier activities, specifically in public spaces, can spark that curiosity that bring in audiences and encourage support for these centers and institutions year long. Now, a bit north, we are highlighting in Whitehorse, Yukon, the Yukon Beringia Interpretive Center. It is known for its exhibits. They also have hosted immersive film screenings and guided tours. And one of the standout features of this center is an interactive mock dig site. And while this dig site is usually reserved only for schools and daycare groups, in the last few years, to be part of Culture Days, the center has opened this mock dig site to the general public for one day. And they've shared that it's actually been a really good, a very successful way to bring through the door new audiences, specifically outside of families and kids. And it's a very nice hands-on activity that can be all ages. And last but certainly not least, we wanted to highlight the awesome community of Culture Days Yorkton in Saskatchewan. The team behind this program works closely with the city of Yorkton, and they offer microgrants to support their programming. So Culture Days Yorkton, I think, is a really strong example of community-led approach to engagement. Their programming is designed to foster connection, to provide sense of belonging and different opportunities for self-expression, primarily for their newcomer, immigrant, and refugee communities in Yorkton. And a key part of their strategy for programming these events is to partner with local grassroots organizations and different cultural groups that already engage these communities, so they can provide these paid opportunities for artists to host and to share these sessions with the community at large. So to start wrapping things up, uh, getting involved, as we've been saying, it's as simple as organizing an event or adapting an existing program um, to fit Culture Days criteria. However, there are many partners of our provincial partners that they do offer extra support and different marketing, media programs specifically, or additional access to regional networks that complement this national campaign. So we wanted to share a quick overview of what that support system looks like across regions. In BC specifically, you can get in touch with BC Culture Days for network connections, promotion support, and more. They also run a successful BC Ambassador Program, which is a mentorship program connecting emerging BC artists with resources and as they plan and produce their Culture Days events. This year's ambassadors have been already announced, so definitely go check them out on their socials and learn more about them. And if you're interested in learning more about that program, you can also find that information in the BC Culture Days page. In Saskatchewan, Culture Days is administered by the nonprofit SaskCulture. So as one of their many impactful cultural programs, it runs across the country, Culture Days Saskatchewan. And you can get in touch with the SaskCulture team specifically for support in that province. SaskCulture runs specifically the Culture Days Hub sponsorship program, and it supports local hubs. And they do give priority for those supporting events that are organized as part of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Applications are still open. It's an ongoing deadline until the funds are administered. So if you are interested, I would recommend you get in touch with Jackie as soon as possible. In Manitoba, you can reach out to the Culture Days Manitoba team for different event planning support, promotional opportunities as well. Culture Days Manitoba runs the super awesome Nuit Blanche Winnipeg event, and each year during Culture Days, it is part of those celebrations. They also run a very popular Student Day program, and this connects teachers and classrooms to arts and culture experiences as part of Manitoba Culture Days. So definitely check that out if that is of interest to you. Next, in Ontario, the Ontario Culture Days team has a vast array of resources and large campaigns to get your planning and resources to support your planning and promotion. They also have a really strong network of local organizers ready to connect. So while they do produce an annual province-wide campaigns, they also run a creative in residence program and support different regional hubs. So definitely check them out and connect with them if you're interested. As Shannon mentioned earlier in the presentation, there are two regions where Culture Days works a little bit different, and that is Alberta and Quebec. So in Alberta, Culture Days is administered through the provincial government. So it runs for the full month of September as a complement to Alberta's Month of the Artists. So each year, hundreds of grants are made available for Alberta Culture Days events. And while that deadline has passed, you can still join the celebrations and definitely get in touch with the team to learn more if you're interested in grants for future years. And Quebec, as we mentioned, Culture Days once inspired by the success of Les Journées de la Culture in Quebec. So this celebration centers around the last week of September. Their teams host separate event listings supporting those events, so get in touch with them for more information if you are in Quebec. And last, we have Northern Territories and Atlantic provinces. So while celebrations in these regions are not supported by a formal partner, as we just showed you in Yukon and Creative Pictou, Nova Scotia, there are many organizers interested in connecting and being part of the Culture Days network. So definitely get in touch with us at the national office to learn more about how you can connect with these organizers in the Northern Territories and Atlantic provinces. So just to wrap things up, I'll invite Shannon on and she will share more reminders before we finish up the session.
Thank you. Okay, so a couple items and reminders, before we wrap up. Event registration is open. So remember, you don't have to have every single detail completely confirmed in order to start your registration process. But as I mentioned in a response to a Q&A, we highly recommend registering in the system as early as possible to get the most benefits from all of these coordinated campaigns and the work of our partners. Remember, events can be updated and edited at any time before Culture Days. Our partners in Ontario, Manitoba, and BC do all have other special benefits that you can qualify for if you register your event before July 31st. That end of July deadline is one we support as well. That gives our teams enough time to really get a good sense of what events are out there and gives some leeway for our promotional initiatives that we take on. So the earlier the better, but you can register events up until Culture Days launches as well. So that remains open to you until the launch of Culture Days in September. So we want to remind you as well, just keep regularly checking into that marketing drive. We're in the process of populating it with lots of updated materials. So over the next week or so, they should all be uploaded in there. And I did just want to address one question from the Q&A because I think it would be relevant for everyone. If how to find other folks in your communities. If you're new to Culture Days, how to find other people who are participating. So the first recommendation we would make is to peruse the event registration listing that's on our website. There's already nearly 100 events, I believe, registered on the site. So you can take a look and see if anyone in your community has already registered. If you do have provincial contacts that were listed above and listed on our website, please reach out to them. They're very familiar with the local networks. They can put you in touch with folks already working on the ground, and they know, those folks who continue to participate every year. They'll be able to answer your questions there. And then, of course, if you want to email us, info@culturedays.ca, we'll also be happy to put you in touch and point you in the right direction there. So all that to say is we wrap things up. Just as a reminder, though, there are plenty of resources on our website, culturedays.ca/resources. We have an FAQ that can point you in directions to maybe some of the remaining questions you may have. And again, if you have any questions, please get in touch with us directly at the contact information on screen. So thank you for joining us for this session. If you're new to the network, we hope you feel inspired and excited to join us this fall. And if you're returning, we hope that was informative and re-energizing. So we absolutely cannot wait to see the incredible array of activities that will happen this fall for Culture Days 2025. And we want to thank you so much for your interest and participation. So again, connect with us if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to hear about your plans. So thank you very much.